Welcome back, everybody. This is Blast the Process 3 on ESA. I am Kick-Ass Pancakes, interrupting your music once again with a BTP first. We finally get a Phantasy Star run on the BTP marathon. Here with me is Veo. He is the runner, and I have commentary by Mr. Starbird. Take it away, guys.
Hey, this is Phantasy Star. Originally for the Master System, this is the Switch version, which is way faster, and you're going to see why. I guess we'll just get right into it. We'll try to commentate as best we can, but things can go really fast in this game. So, alright, so I'm going to start in 3, 2...
Alright, so we have Veo running this game, and he's a lot better at it than I am, even though you are going to get me in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for that one as well. But in the meantime, I'm Mr. Starbird, and the year of this game is 2000X. Dr. Wily had... Wait a second, am I getting even the right game?
I think you might be a little confused here.
Oh, well, it is early for me anyway. So, as you might have noticed already, this game runs pretty fast compared to the Master System version. This is what we really... Master System didn't have the blast processing. The Switch emulated it perfectly, so this is what happens when you put blast processing into a Master System game. And first thing he's doing, picking up the chest, which he already did for 50%, and now he's going to grind for another 25 because the short sword we have might as well just be a Bic pen at this point.
Yeah,
and,
it's not very good.
Yeah, we're not going to be writing a lot. So.
Unfortunately, we're not getting any encounters right now. We only need one. That's one specific one. That can't use that one. It's two man-eaters.
He's looking for either a single scorpion or, and this is bad, he's getting really bad luck already.
Yeah, double scorpion.
3 swarms or a single scorpion.
There we go. We got one. I could still die to this, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah, I've had like a single scorpion.
Oh, right. He's getting me pretty close.
Yeah, this could be scary.
Okay.
But
it started off great. The fight started great, and then I just started rolling 1s, and he started rolling 3s, and it was just all over. Of course, I had to say it. I had to say that this can happen, and then it happened.
Yeah, you done jinx yourselves. All right, so we're going back to 20X10, and is that even a year? I don't have a clue. Either way, the story of this game is your brother, or Alice's brother, was killed by King Lassic's henchmen for spying on him, and Alice swears revenge. Such a great story right off the bat. But as I was mentioning earlier. We are, yes, definitely save this. As you might have noticed, this game is actually now measured in frames per second, whereas in the Master System version, the walking speed and the dungeon crawling was more of a seconds per feel to it. So, this game's definitely done a lot. The other additions to this are lower encounter rates, which is why Veo is walking in circles back and forth for quite a while, because we want an encounter and it just takes a little longer.
Well, it usually doesn't take this long. We're getting kind of bad luck now.
Yeah, we are. And what was I going to say? The other thing is that all experience and money gains in this game...
There we go.
In this version of it are applied by 4. So it doesn't take nearly as long to get to where we need to.
So that normally, in PB attempts, you usually want that to happen in under a minute. So I don't know. I actually can't see the timer, so I have no clue what I'm looking at right now. But
30 seconds. 30 seconds. That you're on world record pace already. you're good. You're gonna get that sub hour.
All right, so now we got the iron sword. There's gonna be a little bit more grinding. So here's the thing. There's like grinding here and there at the start, and then it's going to be not a lot of grinding for a while, and then there's going to be one long grind for 10 minutes, and then after that's over, there's none for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and he's choosing this area because there's a good spawn chance of man-eaters and scorpions here, and with the iron sword, it's less dangerous. So he'll be able to take out these...
Thank you, Mean Bean. It's actually not a hoodie. It's just I'm more just wearing a t-shirt underneath a zip-up.
Hoodie mode life, although I should be wearing one, but I'm afraid every time I wear a hoodie, my cats are always all over me. It's like, no, don't go anywhere, Daddy.
So if you remember, these scorpion battles were a tight race before, and now I'm just kind of demolishing them now that I have the iron sword. It's much better than the default sword.
Yes, Phantasy Star has now become Wizards and Warriors 2 at this point. And yes, this is on the Switch. It's $7.99 on the Switch.
Oh, this is it. I'm done.
Very good deal. Oh, he's already. Wait, you're done?
With the first grind.
So yeah, I still have a little bit of lag even on this
here.
But the magic number here is about I call 368 is about what I'd like to get.
That's ideal, but yeah, I usually just stop at 320 if I get it.
So I call this guy the shopkeeper Mustafa. The reason being is any Austin Powers fan knows that you have to talk to Mustafa 3 times in order for him to give away his secrets. So you have to do that here. So this shopkeeper I do call Mustafa.
Hey, thanks, Devin.
So we pick up the secrets here, and what the secrets are is an item called the Road Pass, which will let us get to the spaceport.
Yeah, if we tried to go here, they would kick us out before.
Yeah, it's sort of a black market thing. It's like, here's your secret road pass, but you had to ask me 3 times for it. So other than that, now he's gonna buy the passport, which is we're only gonna use it like twice anyway, but it'll allow us to take the spaceship to the desert planet of Matavia.
And now we're gonna get the best party member in the game.
Yes, we are. Your pronunciation of him may vary, so use as directed. So we had to get an item called the Laconia Pot from a character, and it's just something we have to trade here, or else pay $1 billion Meseta, which the game counter doesn't
you can't even get
high.
that much, yeah.
So you have to give him the Laconia Pot to get. It's either Meow, I call him Mayu, Maya.
It's definitely Meow. I don't know how you got that pronunciation.
I think I listened to a Microsoft text-to-speech back in '95, so we will go with that. But I call him Kitty because a cat character, best character. Cat is our healer in this game. Although once she gets and it depends on the version. It's either male or female.
I think it's always male. I think you're also wrong.
I think it's supposed to be a male, but once he gets to the Silver Fang, he's going to become a beast for the most part, up until the bosses. Then he won't do anything after that. But here we have Duke Nukem that is joining our party now, and he was turned to stone by Medusa because reasons. He wanted Medusa's axe, and he figured,
we'll fight it.
I'm going to go get Medusa. He left a compass on the other side of this dungeon for some reason, and it's the only way we can get to a town, and we'll never use the item again.
Yep.
So, oddly enough, the game, the Switch version says the compass is used for the maps in this game, that's another feature I forgot to point out.
Oh, you can use the compass in the original version. It's obviously useless in this, but you can use the compass in dungeons, and it'll tell you what direction you're facing.
See, I never even knew that. Gee whiz. Well, either way, it's useless in this game because this is the other feature. We have in-game mapping for the Switch version, which will map your dungeons as you go. So it's makes this game a lot more playable. You don't have to get out the grid paper and your 20-sided die and try and roll for initiative in this game. No. You just have to look at the screen to your right.
Oh shit.
So.
Okay, we got away.
I was gonna say, did you run into werebats?
Yeah.
You did run into werebats. Okay. Yeah, you don't have buy yet. So he's probably good for money right now.
I'm good for money, but I want to get Alice to her next level so I can use buy.
Yeah, so buy is it's a spell that Alice can use that allows you to run away from battles, which is going to be handy in the next cave because technically you're supposed to be a bit stronger when you go into this next cave. Go ahead.
Oh, there was just one question in chat I wanted to answer, which was someone said, is this the graphics of the original Master System version? And yes, the only thing that's different from the original Master System version on the main screen is the sound. The sound it uses the FM sound unit, so it's slightly enhanced. But yeah, everything else is the original game, obviously except the stuff on the right.
I feel so dirty when using the FM chip, just because, again, I grew up with the
I like the FM chip
anyway. Well, the FM chip's nice, and the laser gun's not nearly as ear-piercing as the original version, but yes, buy is best spell name. That is for sure, and this is actually a time when Phantasy Star spell names were actually made sense, because if you play any of the future Phantasy Stars, you know for sure that that the technique names don't make sense. So he had to get the dungeon key in order to advance here, which that is something I forget quite a bit when I'm running. It's like I get to this, it's like, oh crap, I forgot to get the dungeon key.
Do you want to tell them what we're doing in this cave?
Okay, so everyone who's ever played Phantasy Star, the first one, knows dungeon cake is best cake. So we are going to this dungeon to buy a cake. Because for some reason, Princess Peach is telling us that, oh, I forgot the ingredients, please, Alice and company. I need to get this cake for Mario. So we're going here. He asked for 1,000 Meseta. We don't have it, so he's just gonna take 287.
280 is, yeah.
280. So yeah, that was a translation goof in the original that Sega decided to keep in this one. They've tried to really be true to the original as possible. And in the Switch version, for those who really like the original, there is an original mode in this game that lets you play everything the way it was intended as well. You can also turn off the maps and the side and everything else. Yep. So even if you just want to be as authentic as possible to the original, you can do that with the Switch version. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is the definitive version of this game.
For sure. There's one more thing I wanted to say about the cake in the cave. Anyone here who's ever played Phantasy Star Online, you might have wondered, because there's a mission in that game where you also get a cake from a cave, and you probably wondered what the hell was up with that. Like, why is there like a cake in a cave? And yeah, it's a reference to this game. So a lot of people don't realize that. It's just...
As someone who's... no, I got to keep up with chat. That's one thing I am not good with. I really got to keep up with chat. Phantasy Star won second best game in the series. I was going to say, definitely the second best. The first best we know is Phantasy Star 3. Definitely.
Oh my god.
So anyways, we had to go see the governor, and he's given us a letter to go find an Esper named Noah or Lutz or whatever translation you want to use for it.
Yeah, in this game they say Noah, and all the other games they say Lutz, so it's confusing.
In the meantime, he just got bodied by... translation goop, but it's basically the head of Dark Falls, pretty much. Spoiler alert.
The Succubus.
Succubus, yes, exactly.
I'll try one more run.
Succubus that attacks you while you're in the sack, so... Succubus. So now we are in the cave to find Noah, and this is still a pretty dangerous spot. Once we get Noah, it's not going to be too bad anyway. And... excuse me. So, other than that, Cavern Cake mission, yes, exactly. That's the one from PSO. So he's going to take this pitfall here. There's actually, this is one thing I like about the maps as well, is that there are plenty of places in Phantasy Star where there are hidden walls that they're visible walls, but they're basically false walls. And you don't know it unless you're actually checking through. And that was one annoying part about the original game, is that a lot of this you didn't know. But thanks to the mapping, there's actually an indicator that that's a false wall, so you can actually go through it. So there's no missing in this game. You can easily find them, and behind that false wall is a stairwell that leads to 2,000.
I'm getting no encounters.
Yeah, God wall. Well, you had that one. You had that one Spooter encounter, and that was about it.
Oh, another thing is that, like, if you want to know like how hard the false walls are to find, like, before this version came out, I was like ripping a bunch of data from this game, including all of the maps, and like I found a hidden wall that had like never been documented on the internet before. Like I checked every map, and like none of them had it. So like it's just like they're so vague where the hidden walls are that like before this version came out, people like didn't even know where all of them were.
Yeah, and that's something. I mean, and this game's 32 years old now. It's amazing still that there's secrets like that, and that nobody knew anything until this version came out, or until Veo ripped things and didn't tell anybody. Kappa.
I told some people. I shared most of my findings.
Yeah, you shared it to the very exclusive and secret Phantasy Star Friends Discord trademark.
True.
Use as directed. Only games I played with dungeon like Sword of Vermilion. It's like we need more people to run that game too. But
I've actually been playing Sword of Vermilion for the first time recently. It's fun. It's a little janky, but that's kind of what I like about it.
For a game that claims to be 120 hours to play and to beat it in 2.5 hours, it's always fun though.
All right, so we got to do a little grinding now because we got like no encounters. So I have to get some money here, but it shouldn't take as long because not only do we have a bigger party, so we'll kill stuff faster, but the maximum party of the enemy actually goes up as you get more party members. So like you saw, I got 4 scorpions there, which I never got before because I have more party members now.
Yeah, certain monsters still have limits as to how many maximum they have, and this is one thing we probably should explain about monsters to someone who's never played. You may only see one on the screen, but on the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a bunch of you'll see a list that says HP 5, HP 8. That means that's how many monsters there are of that, and unfortunately, you can't target which one you're going to
it's
attack.
random targeting.
It's only going to be it's random every time, and we'll get more into that, especially in the Dark Falls fight. But that is it just shows the limitations of the system and how they got around it. But it was still, compared to the other games, the other big RPGs of the time here.
Oh, this was super impressive. Like, this came out like around the same time as like what, Dragon Quest 2, and like
Dragon Quest 2 in Japan anyway, but it came around the same time as Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, and just the monster animations alone are spectacular. But
we're almost there. You need 200 more.
32. Oh, so he goes for 3,000. Did you pick up the flashes in the cave, or?
I didn't. No.
You didn't. Okay, so you still go with the
yeah.
You still go with 4 and 8.
It's only 40, so.
See, I usually go 3,200 is usually the magic number, and I'll get you enough. And pray to God you don't die, because that'll eat up a bunch of your money if you don't save. So I'll probably be making a bunch of safety saves. You gotta think, 1987, spectacular. This was great stuff back then. The thing is, the Ages version here, definitely this game is a lot more enjoyable and a lot more playable to the modern audience too, and you can still experience a very definitive RPG in the just in general. This was a very influential game. That's one of the ones that started this whole boom. Can't say boom, it really didn't get boomed until Final Fantasy VII, but this was still influential.
And I don't have a lot of time to look at chat because of how fast a lot of stuff moves in this game. So if you see anything that I should answer, let me know.
All right, you should answer. Now you can tell I'm still waking up. Yes, we can.
Hey, Malkov.
So he's going to go to the church here because we need to pray for our safety. The church basically will set your spawn point. It's also used to resurrect party members, but it's pretty expensive. What is it, like 100 per level?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. We don't want that to happen. So he's probably going to be doing some safety saves because we're still under level at this part.
Well, here's the thing. The worst part about dying isn't the fact that it costs a lot of money, although that still does suck. It's that if you have to use a church, it resets your... Oh, I forgot to talk to him again. It resets your, return point. So, if you saw it from the shop, I bought a bunch of transers, and those are the items that take you back to your last town. So, yeah, those are, if you die, then it resets, and you have to use the church, then it resets your point and totally messes up your route.
So we have to speak to Dr. Levino here because he needs to build us a spaceship. He was in jail for some reason. We kicked him out, and he managed to walk past this robot guard just unscathed. He's going back to Gothic. He'll build us a spaceship once we pay him, but we're not going to go pay him just yet. He is related to Mustafa, though, I have noticed, because you do have to talk to him 3 times in order for him to get
You have to talk to him 3 times again later, too.
Yeah, you do. And when you're first playing through this game, you don't know that, and so it's one of those things. So now he's going to walk through lava. Lava takes out 2 damage on all party members per step. He's got enough to get through fairly well, and enough MP with Alice to heal. And so this is actually one of the few dungeons in the game where you don't need to use some sort of lighting method. Another thing to mention, most dungeons in this game are dark, and you need some sort of lighting mechanism. So you got a flash or a flashlight, and you can get a magic lamp later. So Veo's fighting the Evil Deads. They don't give a lot of money, but they do give quite a bit of experience for what
for how long it takes to kill them. Yeah.
Giant flies are actually another good fight as well, but he's gonna probably be saving before the ocean walk here because
I didn't. I should do that.
You didn't save before. Yeah, I was gonna say, do you really want to? Do you want to get octopied here? Because
they just chomp you. Their animation is so good.
Yeah, the octopus here.
Oh, come on, one step. How rare is that in this version? Oh yeah, the encounter rate. I don't know if we mentioned that. It's also lower in this version. Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, you mentioned that.
I was gonna say the other commentators here. Now, Mocha, why are you whining? All right.
Starbird's
She's-
cat is helping us commentate over here.
Yeah, she's being very, very loud right now. What mocha? So, anyways, we're going here. We're going to the food stop to buy a what's called polymaterial. It is evidently, I don't know why they sell it at the food stop, but it's a type of potion that melts all metal except for Laconia.
So naturally, you get it from the food shop.
Yeah, naturally, you sell it at McDonald's right next to those.
Right
burgers
next to
and
the burgers and cola.
Yeah, but I mean, I always wondered what those frappes were. And I don't know. You know, my wife was saying she had a frappe yesterday. She said it really gave her bad heartburn. Now I know.
Now you know
Now
why.
I know it was just polymaterial the whole time.
Oh, crap.
So,
Okay.
the robot we need, which I'm gonna call Rob. His real name's Hapsby, but I'm calling him Rob.
I think he looks like Wally.
Okay, he could be a Wally. He could. But Rob came out before Wally. Wally was there. We go. Wally was modeled after Hapsby.
Okay.
That's what it is. Well, you'll see why maybe momentarily, unless we mash through it really fast. But he's the only one that can fly the spaceship that is yet to be built. So because we know what to do, we actually don't need instruction. Oh, you're getting these dead trees.
Yeah, dead trees are terrible, but like they're hard to run from, so I just fight them.
See, I don't have trouble running from. I have trouble killing them. But that's right. You have a couple levels on where I usually am. So if you got the extra levels,
What is this encounter rate, dude? This is nuts.
Yeah, that'll make the fishman grind a little bit less.
Yeah,
Rob is a good robot.
There he
Exactly,
is.
Rob is a good robot. So we're using the polymaterial and melting all this garbage here, which conveniently enough leaves this robot here. Yeah, we'll call him Wally Robot.
Oh, and you should tell him why I'm saving before I use the hospital, or why I'm healing before I use the hospital.
Okay, so the hospital, much like healthcare system in America, hospital stays are expensive. So basically, it is 1 meseta per HP and MP to heal your character to full. So since HP will definitely get expensive, it's cheaper to actually use 6 HP to use Cure or 2 to use Heal. Well, 6 HP for Cure will heal 80 hit points. So rather than spending 80 meseta to restore 80 hit points, you're just spending the 6 to restore what you used in Cure. So it's a little bit more time consuming, but when money is tight as it is in this game, it's better to just do that way. So he had to talk to Levino a few more times after paying him the last of our money pretty much to get the spaceship, which now we don't need to use the spaceport anymore. We're still going to keep the passport for an inventory manipulation later. So we're going back to Matavia on the other side of it. We're talking to this guy here because he has information on an item called the Soothing Flute, or just the flute. There's 2 purposes of the game. One we don't use because it really doesn't work that well, and the other is great because it'll warp us out of dungeons. But the first, the not very well known purpose of the Soothing Flute,
Yeah, I didn't even know it until you pointed it out
is
to me.
to actually put dragons to sleep. It doesn't work all the time though, so we don't use that way. So you see another instance of a hidden wall or a false wall that led to 500 meseta.
And this one leads to a lot more than 500 meseta.
Yeah, there's another one coming up that wasn't found until Jacid actually found it, I believe, when he first started running this.
Well, yeah,
It's
'cause
5,000 meseta.
It's in Generation 1. I think that's how he found it.
Okay, that's
It's on the
probably why.
Generation 1 maps.
Yeah, so that made it a little bit easier. So it's 5,000 meseta, and that's enough money for us to get probably the best weapon in the game. And actually, it's definitely the most useful because it'll allow us to grind very, very easily. It's called a laser gun, and thankfully we're using the FM sound chip, so that it's not going to
destroy your ears. Yeah.
So the other reason we go through this cave is we talk to this guy, and he gives us information on the hovercraft. Which we will get momentarily, but hovercraft has 2 purposes. It's going to allow us to traverse water, and it also lets you cross lava without having to have any issues. The downside is we actually got to go back to that junk town where we found Rob here and get it. But before that, we're going to make a detour to Skjor.
So yeah, all the weapons in this game pretty much work the same, except guns are an exception. So there's 3 guns in the game. Only Odin can use them. That's Duke Nukem up there on the top right. And what guns do, which is different than other weapons, is that they do flat damage. So they always deal the same amount regardless of defense. And they also hit every enemy. which is the only physical weapon in the game that does that.
Yeah, and the laser gun's by far the strongest of them.
Yeah, it does.
Dealing 20 damage per shot, so it'll make that's the only weapon he's going to use for the rest of the game.
Not anyone, just Odin.
Well, that's what I mean as far as Odin. I was referring to Odin, not you. So
okay.
You also picked a wand. Go ahead if you want to talk about the wand.
Oh yeah, sure. So what the wand does? Oh, I'm already at full. What am I doing? What the wand does is it's a weapon for Noah, but the thing is it doesn't really increase his strength that much, so we're not going to be using it for that. But if you use it as an item in battle, it casts Buy for 0 MP. So if you remember, Buy was the spell that Alice was using to escape from battles. And so now we can just escape from any battle we want. And even better than just the spell, we can have everyone all use the wand at the same time, and whoever goes first will just use it. So it's really good for getting out of battles.
Yeah, and there's 2 monsters in this particular game that cast a spell called Thunder, which hurts. Well, 3 if you count Lassic, but it hurts. You don't want to run into it. So if you see the Marauder or the Magician, you're going to be wanting to get out of there as soon as possible, unless you're at this point going all in and it's like trying to run anyway. But because it's slower, it is slower to slower. So all
right, so let's hunker down.
Goes fast. Oh yes, we are coming up to the best part of the game. Everyone's favorite.
Everyone take a nap.
I'm not gonna say that. This is Fishman grind, and Fishmen are you're guaranteed a Fishman fight in these in this beach area that Bayo's going to be traversing. Our goal, you're going to 18,000?
18, yeah.
So there are different ways to play this. This is probably the most reliable grind.
Yeah.
There's people sometimes you can do what's called a 50-50, which is you do Fishman up to a certain point and then you go to Dazorus and fight Dazorians. It's kind of still up in the air what's better at this point.
I'm doing Fishman for the whole way because I want extra experience just to make sure that I get the extra level for Fowls.
Yes, and the as far as all the enemies go, Fishman is probably the most not only just you're guaranteed a fight here, but easy to kill. Especially it's like 2 or 3 rounds, especially with laser gun.
Almost always 2. If there's 5 of them, sometimes it takes 3.
Yeah, I've had 2 and it ended up being a 3-round fight. But it's guaranteed not to go past 3 rounds just because of the way the laser gun works. Yeah. But Fishman fact though is that it is known that the Parma spaceport uses the tongue of Fishman in order to launch the spaceships into orbit.
Is that how that works?
That is how that works. I mean, you take a look at that tongue and you tell me that doesn't have some elasticity to it.
I suppose it does. But yeah, so like he said, this encounter zone right here, it's all... Oh, wait. So the way encounter zones work in this game is that basically every zone has 8 slots, and whenever you get an encounter, it pulls from one of those 8 slots. And some zones, like this one right here, it's all Fishmen. All 8 slots are Fishman. So that's one of the reasons why this is such a good grind spot. You're always guaranteed to get the monster you want. There are some enemies that are like more efficient for either EXP or Meseta than the Fishmen, but because they're not as reliable encounters, they're not good to grind for. So like a good example is there's a monster called Barbarians or Barbrians because of the character limit. Yeah, those guys give way more Meseta than any other monster in the game. But the problem is that they're only 1 in 4, so it takes it can be really unreliable to get those guys.
Yeah, if we run into a Barbarian, I mean, you don't fight him without the laser gun. You fight a lot of these without the laser gun. But if you run into a Barbarian on our next Batavia shot...
Oh, we're definitely fighting him.
You fight him. You definitely fight him.
I actually always fish for 1 encounter in that zone just to see if I get a Barbarian. And if I don't, I just move on. But if I do, it's still worth it.
I see what you did there. You fish for the grind. That's a good point, Devin. Yeah, so the grind here, it takes about 10 minutes. It's kind of tedious. It's kind of boring, I understand. The grind in the Master System version, this takes about an hour and a half. So you could basically beat this version in the amount of time it takes you to do the grind on the Master System version. See, this is what we should have done here. Linkstar Calf has it right. We should have Ocean Man on loop until this happens. Oh, that would cause that might either. I was gonna say that might be either the greatest thing in the world or like no. So so yeah, this is if anyone else has Fishman facts, please in chat feel free to talk about them.
You can also just talk about Phantasy Star, because when it's on my stream, when we get to the Fishman, this is basically we just end up talking about Phantasy Star in the chat, like the series in general or specific speedrun stuff or whatever. So
yeah, just be glad you're not in my chat. Anyone talk about Phantasy Star, and my wife Saria sees it. She activates what's known as Heckle Percent, which thankfully Veo is not playing Heckle Percent today. This is any percent. If Saria were awake at this point, I'm sure she would be on this microphone as well, heckling Veo right now, like she does with me. And
she hates Phantasy Star.
She does. She's never even played a Phantasy Star game. I think she just hates it because I play it so much.
Maybe. Oh, Meow's pretty
That
low.
could be.
I wasn't paying attention. I gotta heal.
Yeah,
him.
you might want to heal the kitty. Kitty dies, it's not a good thing.
No, it's not. So Meow is actually a cool archetype through the whole series. I like to call him a support fighter. So like basically he has a bunch of useful healing spells and stuff, but he also is a pretty decent fighter himself. So yeah, and that archetype kind of continues throughout the series. If you've ever played Phantasy Star 2 or 4, Ney fills that role in Phantasy Star 2, and then in Phantasy Star 4, Rika is the same thing. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Meow actually, see, I'm even using your pronunciation of it this time. Meow actually does make an appearance in Phantasy Star 4 if anyone's ever played that. He actually gives the silver, they call it the Silver Fang in that game, but it's pretty. And he will give that to Rika in Mist Veil, which I was gonna say God only knows how he gets there, but he probably just sprouts wings and flies, knowing him. But
Announcement: we are officially halfway to 18K. So
yeah, it's halfway through the Fishman. Why do the Fishman fingers move when when he tongues the party? Question for the 8. Wait, they do? Have I really not noticed?
Oh wow, they do. His fingers wiggle a little bit. I never noticed that.
I never did either.
You'd think with how long we spend looking at this fight, we would have noticed that by now.
Fishman fact: there are more cooking recipes for Fishman tongue than there are on meat. This is true. Like creme du Fishman, or a tongue sandwich. The thing is, they all taste like fish. I mean, you've heard the old saying, especially. And I recall the old Lion King movie. I call it old Lion King. Gee whiz, that was out when I was like 7 years old, 7 or 8. And it's like Timon and Pumbaa saying eating grub tastes like chicken. Well, eating anything Fishman related, I'm sure it's going to taste like fish, including its tongue.
So one thing I like to point out is so I actually played Phantasy Star Online before I ever played any of these games. So so a lot of people, they're usually like, oh, I like PSO, or they're like, I like the originals, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I think both are really fun, and I think Phantasy Star made a really good transition to 3D, even though it got way different. I still think the 3D Phantasy Star games are a lot of fun. I actually love Phantasy Star Portable 2, is one of my favorite games in the series.
I will always be a classic person because I actually learned how to read through Phantasy Star 2.
Oh, really?
So, yep, my father used to put me in front of the TV and have me read to him, probably because I don't know if he could or not sometimes. But Devonathan asked a good question. Silver, actually, it's not even a question, it's a statement. I like how the Silver Fang is this legendary item in 4, but the Phantasy Star wants a generic item store. Well, on the flip side of that, Devonathan, the Laconia weapons and armor are legendary in this one, but they're just common store items in 4.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And 2, for that matter.
Yeah, the big legendary items in Phantasy Star 2 are the Ney items.
That's true, yeah, that's... I don't know why they would name the weapons after.
I don't know what it has to do with Ney.
Well, if you think of it though, in Phantasy Star 3, they say Ney is, or that Ney is the word of power.
Oh yeah, so I was trying to remember how they worded it. Yeah.
It very well could be like a ancient language saying that, hey, and that's why when Ney was created, they gave her the name of the word of power. God only knows. I think the legendary weapons came first. fan theories here. I'm a dweeb like that.
Yeah, so one thing that's kind of interesting about the Phantasy Star series in general is you might notice that in this game, we don't have techniques, we have magic. And in the Phantasy Star universe, magic and techniques are actually two separate, arts. So, like, according to the lore, magic was just something that, like, some people, like, it was, like, a thing that you had to, like, be born knowing how to do. You couldn't, like, learn it. And then the character in our party right now, Noah, also known as Lutz, after the events of this game, he created a generalized form of magic that everybody could do with practice, and that was called techniques. So that's actually the lore behind that. So all the stuff like Foy and like all those moves that you know from all the other Phantasy Star games, they come after this in the chronological timeline of the Phantasy Star series.
Yeah, it explains why in Phantasy Star Online and Phantasy Star Universe you can just buy them and use them.
Yeah, anyone can use them, pretty much, except the robots.
Much. Well, yeah, well, even in Phantasy Star Universe, even casts can use them, but they're just very weak at them.
Yeah.
Eventually, they learn them. Switch version, yes, the Switch. This, if you're gonna play Phantasy Star,
this is definitely the best one to play. Yeah.
Yes. One thing to note though is, and this is allowed in the speed runs. The reason it's actually going really super fast, there's two things. You can actually increase the walking speed in the game. It actually doesn't do anything for dungeons, but there's also a forward button. And
you got kind of cut out. So fast forward button is what he said. The Discord's kind of cutting out sometimes. So.
Of course. Oh, I see what I'm saying right now. Okay, I think we're back now. Now, yes, there's a fast forward button that you can map to your controller, and you're basically holding that down the entire game. And but we did decide to allow it for this particular game. One, because it doesn't, unlike the fast forward in like the Genesis collection, where if you push the fast forward button, it does look like you're fast forwarding an old VCR. In this, it doesn't interfere with anything.
It doesn't even interfere with the music. The music sounds perfect.
Doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't interfere with anything. It just affects the in-game animation speed, and so we just decided to allow it, because if we didn't even allow it, this game would probably still be 3 hours-ish,
yeah,
maybe.
Probably.
If not, well, the first time I ran it, I didn't even do the faster walking speed. I didn't even do the fast forward when I first ran this, and I think I still got 3.5 hours, like that.
Hmm.
And then I just decided, I was like, wait, there's faster walking speed?
We're getting up to the end here. We have like about 1,500, 1,400 left to go.
Yeah, so if there's any more Fishman fact, then you say it now. Like, Fishman fact, it is raining in Maine right now.
It's also raining in Massachusetts right now, so.
Yeah, New England does.
Yep.
But so yeah, still, if you were playing this on the Master System version, the Game Boy Advance version had similar enhancements. Not too. It had. I'm trying to remember the Game Boy Advance version. I know it didn't have any of the experience or Meseta enhancements, but actually that was a fairly reliable port, all things considered, except for a little bit of a slower frame rate, and there was that friggin' evasion glitch.
All right, we're done.
Evasion bug, I should say. All right, so we now have enough money to get through most of the rest of the game.
Yeah, we will probably not have to grind again for the rest of the game, unless I need a little extra experience to get Noah his last level, in which case we will have to grind, but it'll be short.
Yeah, if he needs a little bit more money because that sometimes happens too, where you need a little bit more money
for the diamond armor. Yeah, that's true.
But this will get us, what items do we need? We need you're getting the Silver Fang and the Laser Shield, I imagine.
Yes, I'm getting both of those.
So the Silver Fang will be Meow's best weapon.
I'm getting everything in this route. I didn't cut anything for the marathon.
Okay, so yeah, and it's a lot safer that way. The Laser Shield is the only shield that Noah can use, and it's a nice defense boost for him.
That's a huge defense boost. It's like 40 or something, which is really significant in this game.
Yes. For most of this game, we're not upgrading. Actually, we don't buy a single bit of armor for Alice and Oda, do we?
Yeah. They don't. Odin doesn't get anything until the Laconis. Oh, I accidentally equipped the shield on Odin. I can fix that, but I have to do it later.
Yeah, I mean, Noah's gonna be fine.
He'll live. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna have any trouble against Tarzamal, but we'll see how
maybe.
that goes.
We'll see. Yeah.
Well, thankfully, magic deals flat damage.
That's true. Yeah.
I think you'll be okay. If you're not, then you may have to buy a leather shield and do it that way.
Good news, I did not let him kill Meow, so...
Yes, so we're going up to Dr. Mad, and the only reason we go for him, he's gonna open up by saying, give me the cat. If you say yes, he'll automatically kill Meow, and you gotta fight him anyway. We hope, we're at this level because Meow can use a spell called Wall, which will deflect all of his attacks. And that'll basically just let us tank and spank him at that point. But it looks like he did get a hit off on Meow. Unfortunately, we'll have to heal that, but it'll be fine other than that.
If that wall spell looks really overpowered to you, it's because you can only use it on certain enemies. None of like the big bosses let you do that. So
yeah, if only we could use that on like dragons or
fouls.
Like yeah, or fouls. So thankfully, Dr. Matt had that Laconia pot we had earlier, which we're gonna actually need because well, you know, reasons. Well, it's basically Tupperware. I'm just gonna put it that way. The Laconia pot is Tupperware. And there's an item in the game that you get off a tree that needs to be kept fresh, and the only way to keep it fresh is to put it in this magical Tupperware. So we kind of need that item.
All right, I'm gonna grind out one in the barbarian zone and just see if we get it. Come on, 8 barbarians. I'm gonna try one more just because. 8 barbarians. Oh, not 8, but we got 6. That's still good.
6. So you're gonna see real quick that the barbarian fight is it'll give him a lot, and basically anyone who's ever played 4, who does this look like to you? This is Grizz.
Poor Grizz.
Yes, just like in Phantasy Star 4, we're gonna let Grizz. And,
all right, pay attention to the Meseta.
Yes.
2,000 from that one encounter.
Yeah, he shouldn't need to grind out Meseta the rest of the game now. Knock on wood. Barbrian. Yep, it's a Barbrian. Maybe that's what his name. They're all named Brian.
I'm a little concerned about Noah for the Casba Dragon.
Yeah, the Caspa Dragon might. Well, the Caspa Dragon's gonna deal a lot of damage no matter what anyway. So
yeah,
I think he'll be fine. It's a 1 in 4 chance he's gonna get hit, and you know, 1 in 4 chance in this game usually means 1 in 1. But
yeah.
So now we need to get in to fight the Caspa Dragon or Black Dragon, Blue Dragon, whatever color you want to see him as. This is I call him sometimes the Sky Blue Pink Dragon, but actually I've never called him that once before. That's just something I made up this two seconds ago. So he has an item called the Amber Eye, which we need to trade for something later, which we'll explain at that point. But we save here because this guy has 210 HP and he still hits like a truck. As
yeah, he's pretty strong.
He's pretty strong.
Oh, laser shield coming in clutch. Odin got hit. He barely took damage. That wasn't so bad.
Damage. I was gonna say took half his health. Barely took damage.
He normally takes a lot more because he. Oh, look who was hiding in the box.
Oh, the giant flies are nice though because they do give quite a bit of experience and money for what they're worth, but they also cast fire and fire attacks twice. So they got to go through their animation twice, which is annoying. So
Sandworm?
we get the Amber Eye, and we're gonna use that Coca-Cola that the Barbarian dropped. that heals 10 HP.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that because I think that's really funny. So in the original Japanese release, the healing items just had like kind of generic like medicine-y names. So like I think the first one's called the Parolomate, that's the 10 HP one, and then the other one's called Rogaine. And then for the international release, they said, oh, well, what do they like over in America? Oh, they like cola and burgers. So then they just renamed the health items to be cola and burgers.
Actually, I think the Rogaine or something like that, I want to call it a Rogaine because of, Final Fantasy 14, but I think it's actually a type of chocolate, if I recall correctly.
Oh, no, that's the Parolomate. It's also in Phantasy Star 4.
Yeah, in 4, it's... the Parolomate in 4 is a quest item, and it's supposed to have high nutritional value, and it's just chocolate.
Hey, chocolate has high nutritional value.
Yeah, dark chocolate, that's what it is. It's dark chocolate, those antioxidants. So, one thing that went through really quick is Veo bought what's called a magic lamp, and no, we do not get a genie out of it, but we do, however, get the... we do get to light up all of the dungeons without actually having to use up a flash. So it's a little bit of money, but it saves time in just buying it. We also, while we were in Passio, bought the thick fur for Meow, and that's his only armor,
yeah. He also
but it gives him a 30.
He also gets a shield that we're gonna buy later, as he only has one shield as well.
They should have just called him Mittens in the game and not gloves, because it would have just been good just to call him Kitten Mittens.
Well, I think they're called. They're specifically called animal gloves in the Japanese version, but because of character limits, they had to just change it to gloves. Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Mittens would fit.
The magic lamp in the original version was called a light pendant, which makes a lot more sense considering what it does. Oh, nice spikes.
Yeah, because no matter how many times I try to use that lamp, I never get 3 wishes, and one of my 3 wishes is just please let me get through Dark Falls without dying. So this is an all-white fight.
Oh yeah, so the farmers, yeah. So I guess I should explain. There is a talking mechanic in this game. It's not as in-depth as something like Shin Megami Tensei. It's basically just a strength check. So some enemies, if you're capable of talking to them, it will just compare Alice's strength to theirs, or whoever talks. It's not just Alice. And if their attack is the same or higher, then you can talk to them and get out of a battle. I always do it for the E-farmers because they are my friends and I love them. So
I always do it for Dark Falls because I really try to understand what he's going through. I will tell you, it does not work against Dark Falls. And actually, there's only certain enemies you can actually even use it on. It's not something that you can talk to everything. Dragons, you can talk to them, but you need to actually use like a spell, which there's like the spell, what's it, chat, I believe Alice has, and
yeah, she has chat, and
Tele that Noah has, which
Tele is great against dragons.
And there are also some items like the sphere, the magic hat that you can buy in stores. So we're gonna come up upon the Obi-Wan Kenobi fight, and this is gonna be a one-on-one fight with
he's
Noah.
taking some damage here.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I should win the fight, but
so. Yeah, with the laser shield, this is very trivial, but, you know, Veo's deciding to go, you're just deciding to wreck him at this point. So, you'll get the frayed mantle on this, which any Phantasy Star 4 person knows. The frayed mantle is one of the armors in that game that you find in the chest in the Ladea Tower.
But
so,
once again, it's just like a normal item in that game, whereas in this, it's like Noah's best equipment.
Yeah, it's his best armor in this game. So we're done with Matavia up until the very end of the game. So now it's just the Dozoris quest line, I call it anyway, where we need to get an armor, a couple shields, and a few quest items. 1, 2, 3 quest items that we need in order to finish the game. So back here, and he's gonna fly back to Skewer. He's gonna go back to Skewer again to get Mew's best weapon, or not best weapon, excuse me, best glove, which is only glove.
Do I want to take this? I think I'm just not gonna. 3's a bit much.
Yeah, 3's quite a bit. These are evil heads, because, you know, you cannot fit stupid head into an 8 character limit, so they are called evil heads. And they do hurt, that's for sure, but they are very lucrative as far as experience and money goes.
Yeah,
and
they are there, yeah.
You can talk to them with Tele or a sphere, but...
I think their strength is actually... Yeah, so their strength is... Like, they're a type of enemy where you should just be able to chat with them. Okay, so there's basically 2 tiers of talkable enemies. There's the first tier, which is what I described before, where if your strength is high enough, you can talk to them. But if you can't talk to them, you can use chat or tele, and that will work automatically, regardless of strength. And then there's, like, the tier 2 enemies, where it's the same, except chat replaces talk. So if their strength is high enough, you can chat with them, or if your strength is high enough, you can chat with them. Talk will never work, and tele will always work. So those evil heads, those enemies are actually defined as tier 2. So theoretically, if your strength is high enough, you should be able to chat with them, but evil heads have such high attack that you can never match their strength, so you can only talk to them with tele.
Mechanics, yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to Twin Town, which is where we're gonna buy the Ice Digger, and here's that thing again where Ice Digger is a common item in a shop, but in Phantasy Star 4, it's this beast of attack that's needed in this game. It's actually needed in Ice Digger is technically the only
required vehicle.
One required, but you would still need either the hovercraft or Land Rover.
One of them, yeah. You need at least one.
Or the other. Hovercraft's free, so we get it, and we kind of need. If we use Land Rover, it would take quite a bit of time to get to the Tarzmal's cave where we just were to fight Noah. It's just more direct to use the hovercraft in many cases. But so we're gonna. The ice digger is quite expensive too. It's 12,000 percent,
Yeah.
and that's mostly the reason why we grind.
Luckily, you can sell it after you get it, so we can use that to pay for the diamond armor later.
The problem with that is you can also drop it.
Yes, you can do that. Don't do that.
I have had that happen before.
In a
when I'm
run?
in the middle of somewhere. I've had that happen offline when I ran at once, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm glad I'm not running this. It would be embarrassing to even talk about. Oh wait, never mind. No one heard that. Just look directly into this light I am holding here, and you'll all forget this.
Is it one of the Men in Black flashers?
Yeah, is it Men in Blue? Oh frig! I got the knockoff brand again. This is what happens when I stay. This is what happens when I shop at the secondhand shop in this game.
Yeah, the secondhand shop and the first food. So there's the second hand and the first food.
Yeah, which that gave me a joke earlier, but we'll talk about that when it gets closer, when we actually have to stock up on burgers.
Oh yeah.
But, so we're going to the Gowron morgue here, which this is very odd as far as how the lore goes with this. Gowron in this game is a morgue, which is why you're only going to fight zombies in this game. In Phantasy Star 2, it's a friggin' temple. It's like a place of worship.
Yeah, who knows how
So
that switcheroo happened.
You know, a thousand years. I mean, for all we know, in 1,000 years, the Notre Dame Cathedral is going to be a morgue or something like that.
That's a little that's a little bad timing.
Too soon. Well, they're rebuilding it. That's what's great. Especially with Ubisoft.
Oh,
I heard
don't run from
Ubisoft gave them like Ubisoft gave like $500,000 plus use of their blueprints that they use in one of the Assassin's Creed games for a recreation of the cathedral. So definitely glad to see that getting rebuilt. Thankfully, no one was hurt in that whole incident.
Yeah, that's great.
And it wasn't arson, which was also great too. It was just, you know, they were remodeling anyways. Tools sparked, caught fire, and yeah.
I'm not taking a chance running from this.
Lord, I apologize for that. So we're going now. Oh, mammoths.
The thing is, mammoths aren't even that hard to run from, but there's always so many of them that I'm afraid to do it.
Yeah, mammoths actually are very lucrative, but as you can see, 180 HP per shot. That would take 9 rounds at the very minimum, and most likely, Alice and everyone else is not going to deal damage to him. So by the time Noah learns Thunder, which would take a good chunk out of each of them, you don't need to grind at that point anyway. So this is the Laconia Shield Cave.
So
it should have had a better name than that, but
that actually gives me another good chance to talk about mechanics. So if you're familiar with other older JRPGs where there's a concept called like defense breaking, where you reach a point where the damage formula changes if your defense is too low, where it uses a weaker one. And this game has a similar thing where the damage formula is pretty simple. It's just like a deal where it's like, between 75% and 100% of your attack minus between 75% and 100% of the enemy's defense. And if that number is negative, then it uses the weak damage formula, which is just a roll between, 1 and your level. But you also have a 50% chance of missing if that happens. I meant to use Tele and I accidentally hit A. The reason I'm explaining this, the moral of the story is, if a weapon isn't good enough to allow you to defense break, and like whatever enemy you're trying to kill with it, then it's not worth getting because your damage isn't going to go up at all. It's just going to stay the same. So
mechanics.
So as a result, we're not going to really bother upgrading Alice's weapon at all, because even for the final boss, her weapon doesn't matter. Like, she's just too low level to do consistent damage. So we're just going to use magic with her during the final boss. And
you're not going to pick up the lightsaber for the gold dragon fight, though?
Probably not. I usually don't.
Okay. Yeah, some people will pick it up for the gold dragon fight to try and help that go quicker, because once you see gold dragon, you'll understand why.
Yeah, or maybe I'll just get insanely lucky and he won't cure at all.
There's always that hope as well. Yeah, gold dragon's a boss that can cast Cure, and which will heal himself for 80 damage. And yeah. Oh, by the way, Virtual Boy Tower.
Yeah, put on your sunglasses, everyone.
Yeah, get your shades out. Virtual Boy Tower is here. So this is it's actually called Corona Tower, which I think Virtual Boy sounds a whole lot better because I do not think of alcohol when I see this, except maybe what I want to drink after I see this one. So, rip the Hunchback and all the talking goggles, yeah. But so, what, Luna? Oh gee, now we get the other ones. Like, Daddy, come pet me. You're on this thing talking all day. Just come talk to me. It's like, Kitty, just give me. I don't even know.
You have
Give me, like,
you have
30
another
minutes.
you have another kitty right now that you have to pay attention to.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I gotta pay attention to Mew. Meow. That's Gary. Anyways,
So you should probably explain why I'm doing this floor backwards.
okay, so walking backwards, we are basically recreating the moonwalk here, but we are going to an extreme. That's the reason we're going backwards. But no, the real reason we try and walk backwards in this game is when we run, we actually get moved backward, or if we run away from battles, we actually get pushed backwards. So it's technically faster to do it. And thankfully, this is a this.
It's a
dungeon
totally
is-
linear
this-
room, yeah.
Yeah, this is a linear room that's only got one path to go. So normally you'll see Veo going forward, but Luna, gee whiz, don't. No.
So in the Master System versions, you spend a lot more time going backwards because it's much easier to, because the dungeon movement is so much slower. So you go backwards a lot in the Master System version. But in this one, everything moves so fast that if I try to go backwards, I'm just going to mess up so much that I don't even bother doing it most of the time. The exception is rooms like that are extremely linear, so it's really easy to do them backwards.
So the reason we were in Virtual Boy Tower there is we needed to get the Eclipse Torch, and we had to trade the Amber Eye we got from the Casper Dragon earlier to get it. So yes, this is the Eclipse Torch from 4. Thankfully, we're not having the Triplet Steel at this time, but we do need it to for the one of the next key items we need. So
What's my time? My
this
pace
is-
feels pretty decent.
you're at 30 minutes right now. No, you're really not. I figured it would make you feel good if you thought you were on a really good time.
Yeah, this is
Because
like
I have
it's
such
like
nice-
1 hour pace.
I'm a nice guy like that, so you know, I'm the nicest guy
let's
you're
be
ever gonna
safe.
meet. If you don't believe me, just ask me. So now we need to get the Arrow Prism, or Prism as it's called in this game. Another reference to 4.
Second
4
try.
will refer to this, yes. It's guided by Titans, and we want a 1 Titan fight, so which he got in second try here, as he was mentioning. And yeah, it's a lot easier just to go through one of these. This is a very trivial fight, but we're still going to use magic on them to make it go quicker anyway. They'll drop the Arrow Prism, which will let us get to the final dungeon, or not final dungeon, the penultimate dungeon. I'm going to use fancy words today because I can. I don't always use the Arrow Prism, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Wait a second, that doesn't even make sense. I don't even know.
I don't think
So
so.
we got one more spot to go after we get the Arrow Prism. We actually got to backtrack slightly. We need to.
This
go
is
to
where we're gonna
the-
get the. This is where we're gonna use the Tupperware.
Yes, exactly. We are going to go to the Laerma tree, as it's called in this game, and we're going to get nuts. And yeah, I'm not being I'm not being crude or anything. They're actually just called nuts.
Yep, they're in their inventory. They're just the nuts. There, you can see them at the bottom.
They're going to be used later in the game to help us get to the final dungeon. So you need the prism, you need the nuts.
Hey,
You're gonna.
for you, Man Bean.
So yeah, and if you and if you actually try using them in battle, it's just some of the dialogue there.
I went back into the second hand side.
Especially if you have Alice use. I'm sorry, I'm being a little immature here. So we're going to the secondhand store. We're selling the ice digger, and we're gonna go to the first food shop, and we're gonna get ourselves some Big Macs.
I'm actually a little low on money. I'm probably gonna grab the lightsaber just to sell. I may as well equip it to Alice while I'm doing it.
Yeah, usually I will just do that because it'll actually help with the gold dragon fight, and I keep my iron sword because then I can just re-equip it afterwards because Alice is gonna need it again. But there's a few different ways you can still play this and still get very decent times. Veo is the world record holder at this game.
Although
So,
my time is bad,
knows-
you can beat it like pretty easily.
I was on pace the other day too.
Yeah,
but
you
what
were on
happened?
really
Our
good
fault.
pace the other day, and then yeah, the final bosses just did what they
Yeah,
did.
yeah. This is one of those games where the final 3 bosses, if you could be on God pace, but if the final 3 bosses aren't going to cooperate with you, then it's not going to be anything. So this robot cop, he actually has a better detection mechanism here. So if you show him your road pass, he's going to throw you in jail. Whereas the one in the prison would let you pass.
That robot cop's a little smarter.
So yeah, so you tell him no, you fight him, and just don't use magic. You want to limit how much magic you use between now and Lassic, because you don't get this is a marathon.
Yeah.
You're not going to get another shot to heal.
Yeah, so this is actually one of the big complaints about this game, is that this ending stretch is really brutal. You basically have to do 2 bosses and 2 full dungeons without any healing, and it can be really brutal if it's your first time playing the game. And even in a speedrun, it can still be brutal.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you defeat the gold dragon, I believe this is correct. If you defeat the gold dragon and then go back to town to heal or whatever,
you have to do the entire Biomele again. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to fight him again, if I recall.
Do you really have to fight him again?
I believe you have to fight him again. So yeah, this is a problem with that. So we actually have to take a little detour inside Biomele to talk to Daymore the Soothsayer to get the crystal. He's going to ask us a bunch of questions. What is our favorite color? And things like that. So we need this crystal, because if we don't have this crystal, Lassic will one-shot us, and we don't want that. So yeah, we kind of want that item, and so we're gonna go through. This is actually a very difficult dungeon to navigate through.
Oh yeah,
you're going up the. This is probably the hardest dungeon in the game.
This is a nightmare without the auto map. Like, this dungeon is legitimately like one of the hardest dungeons of this entire era. Like, if you don't have the auto map.
Yes, and and that's what made Master System runs difficult too. I mean, you'd have to have the maps, but it's so easy to get lost in. I mean, I still get lost in this game too, but with this dungeon anyway, even with the auto mapping. So he's gonna get the miracle key here. He's actually gonna. This one is always trapped, so he's gonna have Mew, whatever. Use the trap spell to disarm it, and because otherwise it's an explosive trap, which takes away a quarter of everyone's
a third.
HP.
A third.
Is it a third? I thought
it's a third.
A third. Well, that's even worse.
Yeah.
So we want to disarm that. The miracle key will let us open magically locked doors as well. And the reason, this is where he keeps the passport and a full inventory. He will discard the passport to grab the miracle key, and it will put the miracle key.
We're really behind. We're really behind on XP.
Yeah, I was gonna say Alice isn't even at 170 yet. You are.
All right, hunker down again. We need like 1.4K or something.
So as you can see on the map, there's like this little icon where it shows like a little monster face, I call it anyway. As long as you don't pick up the chest or open it, you can reactivate this fight infinitely.
This isn't going to be as long as the Fishman, by the way, so don't worry about it. This is going to be a couple minutes.
Yep, he just wants a couple...
open the chest, dude.
Well, at least the best part is...
We'll be okay. I have to grind sandworms anyways.
Yeah, when you're matching through...
And it was a trap chest, just to like add insult to injury.
It's like... this game just knows. So everyone's kind of low on HP, but thankfully we have a lot of big max at this point. So
yeah, we should be fine.
We're gonna be fine. We just need enough to help us out here. I was gonna say, that's not the lightsaber. You're going the wrong way. So thankfully, we've also gone to Tatooine at this point. So there is a lightsaber around us, and this is not
good thing
means a Star Wars clone or anything.
Good thing I turned left. I got the encounter. On that.
Oh, go ahead.
So if you look in the upper right corner of the map, that trap, if you turn right out of that hallway, like logic would tell you to do, when you run away, you'll get pushed back into the trap and you'll have to redo stuff. But because I turned left instead, I just used a cure on accident. Awesome. So
womp womp.
At least it actually healed Alice when she needed it. So whatever, it's not that big of a waste. But yeah, so if you turn right out of that hallway, you get pushed into the trap. If you turn the other way, it pushes you in the same direction you want to go. So it's kind of the same concept as the backwards walking.
If you get into an encounter anyway, but knowing where that is, if you turned right and got into an encounter, you would know not to run, but it would waste a lot of time just trying to fight, depending on that. I mean, thankfully that was a red slime, so even if you just had to fight it...
Honestly, I probably should have fought it, because red slimes are, like, not bad.
So we're at the top of the tower now, so he's gonna heal up everybody, and we need to use the prism to reveal the air castle, and then we need to feed our kitty some nuts. And I have not tried this yet, and I probably wouldn't recommend it, but when you feed your cat nuts, they're gonna grow wings. I think the reason.
The fun fact, because you're riding on Meow, if Meow dies in this fight, you instantly lose.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna just tumble to Earth now, and
Noah, please stop targeting Noah. Okay, he's a tank. We're good.
Speaking of which, did you remember to equip Noah with the laser shield after you gave?
I did.
Laconia
Oh my god, first try. Okay, let's go.
So yeah, Gold Dragon here will heal for 80 at times, but you hope for a 0 cure.
He zero cured. That was a 0 cure.
Yeah, you don't give Red Bull or nuts to cats in real life. Do not do that. I will hurt you. Yes, D's nuts. Though the nuts in the game are short for D's. And actually, you know what? They probably could have.
Oh my god! I just realized Torozon's in the chat. Hey man, I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for watching.
Awesome.
Mormont's in the chat. What's up, Mormont?
Mormont. So we're at the air castle now, and if anyone's played Phantasy Star 4, you're gonna notice that the second half of Phantasy Star 4's air castle layout is exactly the same as this. So this was another one of those subtle nods that Sega decided to throw into the first one.
Phantasy Star 4 has a lot of Phantasy Star 1 references in it. Probably more than any other game in the series.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, it's the final game in the series. You might as well.
Well, I mean, even including like the later games like PSO and stuff. Actually, I don't play PSO 2, but I've heard PSO 2 had like a campaign that had a lot of references to the original.
I think PSO didn't PSO 2 also have like a Legend of Zelda something in there?
Oh, I
like
have
a
no
Hylian shield. I don't know. I know Phantasy Star 0 had a Hylian shield in there.
So this is a little strat difference. I actually use Wall in this fight to avoid having to heal as much later. But some people, I know Starbird doesn't do that. He just fights the fight straight up. But I find it usually saves like a burger or two. So I like to use Meow. Or I like to have Meow use Wall during this fight.
Yeah, Shadow doesn't hurt nearly as bad as Dr. Matt. That's why I don't use it. And yes, this is the Sega Ages is for the Nintendo Switch. So $8 on the Switch, and here you go. You got one of the greatest RPGs of all time. I will fight you for that. And I've even threatened that to my wife. Is I will fight you over this one. Especially when she tries to go heckle % on me. But so we got through Lasic's Shadow.
So
and,
we've done one of the 3 big RNG fights. The second one is coming up. Oh come on, leave me alone.
Which is what we call classic Lassic.
Classic Lassic, yeah. Or Vlasic Lassic.
I was gonna say because he does enjoy his pickles. He's a classic Lassic that enjoys Vlasic. I think he also enjoys Bach.
I don't get that one.
Because it's classical music.
Okay.
just agree with me on that one.
All right.
So we are coming up on the Lassic fight here in a moment. As soon as he runs away from the horsemen here. Horsemen are a bit annoying because they can cast fire. I did
the classic, which is I saved before I healed. So now I have to save again.
This is the door to Lassic, which we're gonna knock on the door here in a momentary and say, "Your DoorDash is here. Please open up." You did order from the first food shop, right?
Yeah, we're here with your order of burgers.
It's like, yeah.
Oh, I almost used open for some reason.
So all the burgers are gone now, and basically Lassic's gonna be very disappointed that, much like when I get a Pac-Man pizza from DoorDash, I'm like, something's missing from my order. So we're gonna have to give him a refund, but first we're gonna kill him.
Wow, Alice got destroyed. I normally just let her die anyways, but damn.
So we're gonna go all out here. Lassic has one move. It's called Thunder, and it hurts.
He's not being nice.
So, yeah, we're probably gonna have some casualties here.
This might be a reset. Yeah, we'll see.
This is why you healed.
Oh my God, Odin is a legendary tank, dude.
Wow, Odin is being tanky. That is.
Wow, I can't believe that fight won. That was so terrible.
Wow, it's like a 1 damage.
1 damage roll on Odin. Holy crap.
So no reset there. And this is why we use the flute. Get out of there. We have 1 transer left.
Oh, I forgot to use the church.
Oh, there's a church at the next next place anyway, but
I prefer.
so he
I don't
does
know.
look-
Huh. Yeah, I guess you're right.
one way or the other. Either way, we do got to stock up on burgers one more time too. But it looks like you're probably gonna have to grind a little bit for that diamond armor.
Yep. And where are you at?
Yeah.
Oh, he's only 800 away. We might be good for that level. We'll see.
Yeah, marathon strats would be to get Noah a little higher level too, which I'm gonna have to grind that one out myself because I usually forget to give him that extra level. Especially, I don't want to have to reset a million times the falls. It's like, what are you I was gonna say? We're going to skewer. What are you going to skewer for?
Yeah.
It's like there's no burgers there.
All right. So I re-equipped the iron sword on Alice because, like I said before, Alice's weapon doesn't matter for the final boss because she's not going to be able to damage break him regardless. So I put the iron sword back on her, and we're just gonna sell the lightsaber instead. It's worth like 1,500. So.
But first, burgers. So yeah, we're gonna make this delivery to Dark Falls next. I don't think he's gonna be as receptive as Lassic is. Though. I'm pretty sure where his food.
Lassic was so full off his burgers that he did 1 damage to Odin because he couldn't muster up the strength to hit him with a full attack.
Either that, or it's because Odin had some burgers and he became Popeye at that point. Was there spinach in these burgers? It's like. So another nod from 4 to this sandworms. So these actually give the most meseta per enemy in the game anyway, and this is a good place to really get some money when you need it. So he needs about a little over. You need what?
Gee, Scorpies! I must have walked out of the zone. The OC. This is the original Phantasy Star. The first one, but it's the enhanced version on the Nintendo Switch, so it's not the original Master System.
This is the better version.
The better, much better, yeah.
Much better version. Spinach burgers, yeah. You've never had a Boca Burger or a or Morningstar that has all those nice veggies in it? Spinach, yes. Yeah, just you know, we'll be able to beat Dark Falls once we eat our spinach, you know. Which,
by the way,
I don't even guarantee that.
I don't know what pace I'm on because I'm not looking at the timer, but like, this run feels really good. Like, is this world record pace? Actually, never mind. Don't tell me if it is.
I'm not telling you.
All right.
I am not telling you.
It all comes down to fouls. It all comes down to fouls, anyways.
It will all come down to fouls.
I'll just fight this. Noah's really close to leveling. That's why I'm still fighting.
Excuse me. Sorry, talking too much.
All right, like literally any encounter, and we're good.
So
I'm just gonna head over there now.
Yeah, so you should be fine at this point. You got enough
I
money.
don't even need to sell the lightsaber or the magic lamp. I'm just gonna drop both of them. Oh, I forgot to take a fight. Oh, you idiot.
So, as far as the story goes, when you play through, your whole quest is to go and kill Lassic. Revenge and, free Algo from his tyranny type of thing. So you've killed Lassic, so what are you doing still playing this game? You prompted at the end of the Lassic fight to go see the governor. And if you remember, the governor, we gave him the cake earlier. He's the reason we had to go into that.
He's the cake guy.
Dungeon cake. Yeah, he's the guy. It's the only way to get in here.
He loves this dusty cake.
I mean, I'm about ready to call the governor Mario, but so this is also another free healing house here. So it's the only one of 2 in the game. So
I forgot something a little important.
Yeah, I would say you did. I believe it's shiny. And I think it takes 8 diamonds to craft, if I recall correctly, if I remember my Minecraft. So we need to get the diamond armor. Reason being is she's wearing leather, and Dark Falls is a very, very eco-friendly boss, and he is going to destroy anybody who's wearing leather. So,
oh yeah. So actually, someone just brought up in the chat, and someone mentioned it earlier, and I wanted to talk about it. Yeah. So there is a full-fledged PlayStation 2 remake of this game, and it's actually incredibly good. I love that version of the game. And I'm actually routing it. It's completely different from this game. It's like rebuilt from the ground up, like very different combat, totally new graphics and stuff. It's super good. There's an English translation as well, so if you haven't played it, I really recommend it.
Yeah, the Gen 2, from what I understand, is not nearly as good.
Oh yeah, no. The Phantasy Star 2 remake, they did another remake of that game in the same style. And yeah, that remake is not nearly as good as the Phantasy Star 1 one.
Yeah, I still gotta play through the first one myself, but I just haven't had had time. Ugh, you know, grinding out this game every hour of the day. Yeah, right. I probably should be practicing this game more.
The Phantasy Star 2 remake on the PlayStation 2, actually, I always get a kick out of it because the combat system is totally broken. They have like this super thing, like where like kind of like a limit break where you charge a meter in battle and then you can use like a powerful move. But the thing is, it charges faster if you defend. So it's actually optimal to just throw shields on every character, defend until you get your super move, and then just use it and like fight every battle that way. It's really terribly balanced.
Yeah, it sounds slow to me too. But so this is the final dungeon of the game, and a lot of people when they first play this game, they'll get lost because there's a hidden door off to your left which you will never see.
Here he is.
Thankfully, this game is so.
Ooh, that's not a good start.
So this is Dark Falls. You're gonna notice there is no HP meter in the corner. This is to hide the fact that there's actually 2 of this boss on here. And unfortunately, this is also the only boss where the laser gun's not going to attack him twice, because if it did, then it would kind of give away to the fact that, hey, there's 2 stacks of him.
Fuck.
So it's kind of their way of hiding the fact that he's got 510 HP total.
Yeah, because it's 2 enemies with 255 each.
And he hits like a truck, and all the damage he does, it's the range of it
Odin
is
again.
astronomical.
Ooh, now I got a good roll. Nice.
We want definitely good rolls, but I've had him hit Meow for 115 once, and that is not a fun feeling.
No.
So we're basically, the strategy is it's a DPS race at this point. You're going to have Alice cast fire, Noah cast wind. Odin's always going to be attacking, and you want to keep Odin.
Wow, great tanking from Meow.
Meow is just going to be healing second turn onward, and wow, he is tanking.
It depends on how close he is. If I get this, it's probably dead.
Ooh. So yeah, we want to try and use up as much as of Meow's healing as we can. If we have to use burgers to heal ourselves, we can. The only thing about burgers is that you can't use them on anybody else. The person who uses it is actually the one that eats it, because you can't exactly have Alice say, "Here, Noah, have this burger," and shove it down his throat. So you're almost beaten.
Oh yes.
You've almost beaten Dark Falls when he only attacks once. That means you've killed one of the stacks of him. At that point, the fight becomes a lot safer until someone dies. But keeping Odin alive at this point will make it so that it's a lot better. Usually, once Noah's MP runs out, then you know that you're
Noah's
close.
a legend.
Yeah. So the strategy here is have Noah use leather armor and hope for the best. No, you want to.
Oh god.
You want to hope that Noah.
We did. Okay.
And Odin with his flat 20 damage will be. It is a stressful fight, and this is a game maker, so.
Time.
One reset. Yeah, one reset fight, and Falls over. Time is when. And he's already called it anyway. You see, you're ahead of me. Time is when. Excuse me. When you actually when it cuts to this screen anyway. So auto splitter out there.
What was the time?
What's the time? 1:17:11.
So that's not bad.
Good.
It's probably actually closer to like 1:15, because remember I died to the scorpion and then reset.
Yes.
So
yes, you did.
We did not reset the timer early on.
Okay.
So
1:15. That's 1:15 is super good for a marathon run. Like.
Yeah, that is a really good time. And just be thankful you didn't die to swarms like I did when I ran.
It's not world record. World record is 1:13. Or sorry, it's a high 1:12. That's right. I forgot I PB'd. Yeah, it's high. It's high 1:12, like 1:12:50 something. I forget exactly.
Every time I get it, he has to show off and break it. I haven't got it since. But no, he did. That was a pretty solid run for the most part.
Yeah, that was a great run. Like I couldn't have asked for that to be much better for a marathon.
No, that and
like first, like no cure gold dragon, first try, last second. Well, actually, no, Fouls was second try, but the first try was really quick. So yeah, that just went really well. I'm really happy with
As a reference to the speed, though, of the game right now, watch how slow the dungeon crawls here
Oh, yeah,
compared to how fast it was going.
This is what the dungeons look like without fast forward. So it looks like it's running in slow-mo.
Seconds per frame is what I call it. But yeah, this game is a classic, and the availability of it is great now, and anyone who loves these classic RPGs, I think if Dragon Quest had something like this on the Switch,
that would be awesome.
Like that would be great, especially with its mapping system and whatnot. But I think all the classic games would benefit with a style like this.
Yeah,
because Sega's awesome.
The whole Sega Ages series is just amazing. Every single release in that series has been awesome. Like the Sega Ages Sonic 1 is really cool. Like it's probably not as good as like the Android ports, the 2016 or whatever. I forget when it came out. But the thing is that the Sega Ages Sonic has a port of the Mega Play arcade version, the obscure Japanese arcade version of Sonic 1. It has a port of that, which I'm pretty sure has never been ported to console before. So
yeah, M2 is the ones who ported this for Sega, and M2, thankfully enough, is also the one who is doing the Sega Genesis Mini that's coming out in September.
Oh yeah,
which I am hyped for that, because thankfully At Games is not doing it.
All right, so yeah, that's the run. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
All right, good run. GG.
All right, and just let me throw in, M2 is the one that redid the 3DS versions of the Sega games and did a really good job there. So we have a lot to hope for.
Yes,
I'm really excited for that.
And thank you, Vio. Thank you, Mr. Starbird, for the amazing commentary. What an amazing run. First time Phantasy Star's been at a Blast of Process.
And
we
not even the last time. Not even the last time for today. Crusader is doing, for all you PSO fans out there, Crusader is doing PSO tomorrow. So I think it's 6 a.m. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Get those PogChamps out for PSO.
PSO! All right, chat. We're going to listen to some music. We'll be right back.
Have a good day, everyone.